Okay, hi Taurus, and welcome to your June 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky to talk to you about the energies coming in for your sign in June. I hope you guys are having a really great month. What a beautiful series of energy you have coming in this month. I'm thinking that you are having one of those moments in life this month where basically the story gets really clear, okay? The plot that you're in or the setting in which you are creating many stories in your life is something that gets a lot clearer now. So any type of, confusion or uncertainty or loss of sleep on account to like flight of ideas is something that's wrapping up with this month. And you're probably going to be facing in the root of those things this month. But ultimately, this is going to get you really clear. So this is a kind of one of the most healing series of energies I've felt for Taurus in a long time. And when things are so healing and so change-oriented, it can be difficult to reconcile some of the things that come up, okay? So I would try to disconnect from having to solve every single problem. And more so, I would move into the simple healing methods. Like, okay, maybe I don't know the answer to why that person did that, but I do know that this sleep cycle or that this diet does really well for me. Okay, so letting it be the simple things, letting it be the easy things to get you in a healthily crafted enough environment to where you can understand some of these bigger things without having to, freak yourself out about it. So you've got, I'm looking a lot at that 9 of Swords reversed and 7 of Cups reversed. And I'm seeing that many Taurus are just not settling for these quandaries anymore. So these things which have been so complex and so unsolved for such a long time just are not really interesting you anymore. I'm sensing that a lot of you just do not want to be in dark, complex places anymore. I'm sensing that a lot of you are done with the existential crisis, and many of you are ready for much calmer shores. You've got 2 of Pentacles coming up, saying that you've moved away from the troublesome waters, that you've moved off of those stormy paths. And even though you have a decision to make, you're on solid ground. Okay. This is a hyper spiritual month as well. You've got the High Priestess coming up and Judgment reversed, as well as the Lovers reversed as your major arcana cards. So basically the transformation is not avoidable. It's a very difficult month to, doubt change, to doubt that life is anything but static. That would be very difficult this month. And you want to basically saddle up for a grander adventure. Okay, I was about to say broader adventure, but then it came out as grander adventure. It has been a long day of readings, Taurus. So be sure to hit that subscribe button below for many readings, and yes, hit that like button. Okay, anyway, making a grander adventure is a large part of what will compel you this month. So you need off the momentum of trusting the simple, trusting the good diet, trusting the good sleep cycle. There then has to be a broadening of like the experience that you're in. What do I mean by this? Okay, so you've got to kind of make the goal bigger or the adventure bigger. Like you might be trusting too much in like small everyday things. Like I go to my 9-to-5 job every day, I make my salary, I do this, and it's just very existential to me, and it's depressing to me to know like the 30-year trajectory of this. You've got to kind of broaden it out. Like, okay, maybe I'm actually taking the first steps to really understanding how, I don't know, like certain things are operated, and it gives me a different type of trajectory. You've got to basically prescribe yourself a better or what you feel to be grander trajectory, instead of just getting caught in like the hamster wheel type of experience. This feels paramount for Taurus because I'm feeling that your energy is very kind of locked in and connected to repetition. So that to me feels like something that can't last forever. The main aspect of 2021 is repetition and stability. So I really think it's awesome that you guys are tuning into that and you're going to be rewarded for it. But it's almost so stable, it's so still that it needs some type of surprise element. So within these stable situations, I feel that you need to introduce some type of adventure. So maybe it's time to start working for volunteer work. I was talking about this for Sagittarius as well. Maybe it's time to start meeting new people in different circles. Maybe it's time to, I don't know, plan some travel or plan that vacation. I feel like you got to mix it up. I feel like it's very lucky for you to mix things up in some way. Also, though, there's something a little bit, what do I want to say? There's something just a tad despondent within the energy here. Do you guys see what I'm seeing with the High Priestess, Two of Pentacles, Nine of Swords reversed, Seven of Cups reversed? There's like so much writing on the wall, but you're not really viewing it in a favorable way. You're like, okay, so this is the trajectory, this is the momentum, this is the repetition cycle. It's all laid out here, but it's not something you're wanting to really see. So I would definitely really deeply ask a few questions that are important to the degree of like, am I missing the forest for the trees here? Do I really understand the people in my life? Do I understand the things that I'm putting my body through? Whereas these things seem small and incoherent or unimportant to my larger life scale, is the repetition of some of these things something that does me well in the long term? You want to get a little bit strict with it, actually, okay? You want to not necessarily allow yourself so many crazy coping mechanisms, okay? I love my Taurus people. You are some of my favorites. But I do feel that some of the coping is getting out of control here, and I think that it's actually the perfect recipe here for cultivation in general. So this can be the cultivation of anything, and I'm not going to go super specific here, but you do not want to cultivate the wrong things at this time. I'm saying that the universe is very strict about the cultivation of things that are damaging to your body, okay? The cultivation of things that are damaging to others, the cultivation of anything like that is basically something that is like very set in stone and it writes on the wall and it's like recorded, or there's something about the things that we choose to cultivate now that are never going to go away, okay? So that can be one of the most empowering things in the world or one of the most disempowering things, depending on what we choose to cultivate now. And actually, I'm giving you guys a little bit of a heads up with this because that's really not the case until we get to like later this year at the next eclipse cycle. So that's pretty far down the road. You guys have a window of opportunity if you're not happy with what you're cultivating. Knowing that you have a little bit of extra time is good, but there's going to sort of be this incremental move towards that. It's not going to be like all at once, and it's really starting here in the month of June. Like step by step, we're cultivating this more set experience, and there's going to be nothing but support in the positive and healthy decisions that you're making now. Especially if those decisions deal with some type of acceptance of change or some type of release of control dynamics. Anything along those lines really get you very far ahead. And there's some type of talent, I think, that Taurus people have that needs more focus, or some type of talent that can even help other people. So I'm finding Taurus to be a very altruistic sign right now, to be very capable of understanding the needs of others. So in that way, if there's anything that you can do that contributes to helping others to understand that, or helping people, just being a helpful person, okay, that is very, very good for you, okay? Anyway, Taurus, let's look at the week to week. Week 1, you've got High Priestess rooted down by the Lovers reversed. So in the first week of June, you have such a broad view into your options, okay? You are really starting to get a spiritual tone into like decision making, okay? And there's a decision to be made in the first week. With the Lovers reversed, it's almost like you're putting off some kind of decision, or there's something coming up in the first week that needs to be reconciled, or it needs to be basically completed or chosen. The choice needs to be made, but you might kind of be hyper contemplating it or putting too much energy into considering the outcomes of individual decisions. I think that things have to just get easier. I think that you need more time alone, maybe, or you need more people who understand like what you've actually been doing recently, or more people who can sort of it's weird, I'm basically feeling that it's difficult for Taurus people to really find people who understand them, or to really find people who don't basically like devalidate some of their more tangible experiences. It's really got to get better. And I would also ask, like, are the, habitual patterns that I'm taking part in, any type of addictive cycles, anything that I feel is like something I have to have that's not really necessary for my life, is that something that I'm really proud of at this point in time? Is that something that I'm really willing to pay for the rest of my life? There's got to be some type of lifeline decision made in the first week, like to end, an unhealthy habit, to end a long time period of insomnia. Okay, I feel like you have a great ability, Taurus. Okay, you have a great ability to solve these long running trials. And by the second week, you're moving into that with the Two of Pentacles rooted down by Knight of Wands. I think that the decision that you're making, again, Two of Pentacles is a minor arcana version of the Lovers. It represents crossroads as well. So the Knight of Wands rooting that down says that you want to pursue what you really want, okay? I think that some of you are getting tied up between the practical and the spiritual, or tied up between the practical and that which evokes desire or enjoyment in your life. What are you enjoying right now? The Knight of Wands in the second week of June is all about being willing to pursue joy, being willing to enjoy, being willing to not put yourself through such a bland or gray experience. And by the third week, you have Four of Wands reversed rooted down by Nine of Swords reversed. And, something could fall through. Okay, to me that looks like events falling through, or some type of, unexpected result. And right on top of that is a huge level up. Okay, so Taurus is a youthful sign. It's the second sign of the zodiac. And that means that when things don't really end well, or things look problematic, it can be very two-dimensional for you. It can be very flat. Like, you may not realize that the troublesome dynamic of this relationship, or the lack in money, or the event falling through, you may not realize that it does so much for you later on. You may not realize that this, what seems like turmoil now, may be the fuel for some type of grander expansion in the future. And that's what you have to look to in the third week. Like, wow, look at how much I'm being motivated by this series of events. Wow, look at how much power I'm gaining through actually working with joy, and actually working with what I want in life, instead of accepting what other people have prescribed for me. Wow, look at how much ability I have with my own two hands to shift and shape the reality that I'm actually wanting to live in. There's a revealing happening in the third week of June through shadowy experiences, perhaps, or maybe if for some it could even be like a breakup or some type of end in sight. It could also be knowing that something that you really enjoy doing is wrapping up. Like, maybe it's your final season of doing some type of competitive sport. Maybe it's your maybe retirement is coming up from something, and you might really enjoy doing that. And how can you continue it in a new way? It's good to think about how knowing that endings approach can be very empowering, because it promises a new project, or it promises something new to fill that empty space. This is basically what I always try to work with people on when it comes to loss, or when it comes to something no longer being a part of your life. Like, what can you fill that empty space with? It's a cleansing process. It's a purification process on behalf of the universe when we finish something, when we end something, when we conclude, because it clears space. But we have to take part in that, okay? And that's what Taurus and any zodiac sign really can forget sometimes is, we have free will. We have animation that is under our control. We make choices, and we can choose to fill that emptiness with sadness or with defeatist mindsets or with, very stubborn, unmovable pessimism. Or we can choose to actually take power back and to fill that emptiness with healthy, meaningful experiences. Okay? And that's what you guys have to do. And then the fourth week that already begins, 7 of Cups reversed, rooted down by Judgment reversed. Lots of reversals. I think that you guys have more reversals than anyone this month. That's okay. It just means that you're really analyzing. You're really paying attention to anything which is feeling out of place and therefore empowered to achieve more cohesion and enjoyment in your life. So moving through the fourth week, you want to see that there's more focus on the here and now. You want to become more present oriented. Again, the 7 of Cups is about losing track of yourself. It's about letting yourself go to a degree. It's about being so focused on things outside of yourself that you're forgetting about yourself. And when it's in the reverse, you realize it. You know that that's what's happening. So Taurus has the best ability in the fourth week to see what is taking their attention. There could be a lot of things distracting you from yourself, distracting you from the progress that you need to make, and it might need to be simplified, okay? You might need to really shed some excess skin, okay? That's been coming up for every sign this month, like 10 of Wands energy, having taken on too much, being distracted from what you really need, not really being able to get the progress you've wanted because of that. And with Judgment reversed, rooting that down, you don't want to prevent that transformation. Allow it to come through. Allow the changes you've needed for a long time, Taurus just has to be their own best friend sometimes and choose to really build up the health of their body, build up the health of their home as well, and their immediate family. I would look at family too, like nuclear family. Is that healthy? Is that in a good place? Like, is there attention needed there? I'm feeling very fourth house energy, home, hearth, family, emotional connection to the family home. What's coming up there? Is there something that needs your attention there? And can you heal yourself through that? It might be a good place to check into. But anyway, Taurus, I hope that the reading resonated. I've been doing so many of them today. Not the easiest month to articulate. Mercury is also retrograde in Gemini as I'm filming. But let's do an extended reading for you over on Patreon. If you haven't joined it yet, I do all the readings early, ad-free, and extended. And you can also get the weekly forecast. There's a lot of content over there that is really valuable. So be sure to check it out. We're going to get a central theme, 2 supporting themes, and an overarching significator for you for the month ahead. And I'm wishing you all much love and enjoyment of this month. Let's jump over to Patreon now. Much love. Bye.